So I just got out of the interview. It was a 40-minute interview. They asked 12 questions, and that's a lot because we get in, or I get into the lobby. I'm about 20 minutes early. I use the restroom. I walk around the place to, check my bearings, escape routes just in case, for what reason. Got to know how to get out of places in case something happens. I get introduced to the team of people that are in there, and that's what I was used to as far as in-person interviews, is a team or a panel of people, so I can play one off the other and check and scan the room of eyes and interest or uninterested people. Met one of the program managers and two other people that were there. They had some really great questions. They had a worksheet, a 3-page worksheet of questions. And what they did was they took turns bouncing around on questions as far as, okay, I'll ask him this first one, second one, or, we'll jump to the back page. So the questions were pretty much, as you would expect, a lot of the same questions that I answered from that other position that I applied for 5 times, or interviewed 5 times. But I was able to go in more depth on certain questions because it was more about character. And I was able to, when you go into interviews, you're basically trying to sell yourself. You're putting on a show, meaning they see what you look like on paper. They could probably find you on the internet somewhere, but you're actually putting on a show. And I'm pretty good at putting on shows. I used to do that once upon a time. Magic shows. Or I'm used to standing in front of people and talking or delivering information to people that they don't know about or what they don't know about. I'm used to giving or picking a topic and an extemporaneous topic and going on this tangent and bringing it back home to certain, questions. So the questions were good. Again, this is for the Central District Health, and they asked the questions. I think I did pretty well, and I asked my questions about salary. They gave me some numbers of basically a math problem to figure out, and I have to go back on the internet to see what the pay range was to figure that out. I asked for relocation assistance. They said for this position, no. Okay, again, I'm 2 hours away from where I currently reside, so if I do get offered a position here, I'll consider it, but I have to outweigh the goods and bads and indifferent things. But I do have support from family to take care of the kiddos or house the kiddos or help move the kiddos if needed, if I am considered for this position. I asked about a tentative start date. They said there's no real tentative start date. I asked about the last person that was in this position, what success looked like for them and how they were able to advance. This person had developed skills and they took a job on a federal level and had to relocate somewhere else. I'm like, okay, so they didn't fire anybody. The person wasn't bored, so to speak, but they were able to gain the information or gain the knowledge to move on, which is what we're supposed to do anyway. I told them I would like to train my replacement from the get-go, building rapport and disclosing and giving feedback to people under me or working with me. So just in case I'm not there for what reason, they can follow up with any type of project or deadlines and things like that and help meet them. I also asked the super hard question that I usually ask, and I was able to ask it in person, and I haven't done that for 6.5 years. That was basically was within this conversation that we've had about the details of my work experience. What is there anything creating any type of hesitancy to consider me for this position? And that the body language of the panel was what I was looking for at the very end. Was they sat back and they kind of looked at each other, and the more senior person took control, which is normal. He danced around a little bit, says, well, yeah, your resume is good. Then he said some other things like, yeah, your interview process was phenomenal. We enjoyed talking to you. If there was one thing that I could point out, and before I say that, and he looked at the other two, and they both said no, they don't have anything. He said, your inner workings or inner knowledge about public health and things like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, yes, just like my tangibles, right? My skills, my talents and experiences, my intangibles as far as character and personality, those will mesh well, and you can always learn skills. You can always teach and learn things. And he agreed. They all agreed. So hopefully They'll get back to me, as I said, next week after they go through the whole gamut of interviewing all these people and then eventually making a decision. I asked them, will you please let me know either way, yes or no? And they said, absolutely. I'm like, all right, cool. So on a scale from 1 to 10, as far as interviews go, I would rate this at a high 8.5. It was really cold in the room. They didn't have any jackets on or sweaters. I walked in with this jacket. I was going to take it off, so that, I did unzip it so they could see my cool shirt. But I had to keep my jacket on because I was shivering in the chair. And to be comfortable in an interview is very important. So I did my pregame right in the last video. I psyched myself up from failure, from being discarded in an email, to hype myself up to keep things playful in this interview. Now, am I going to mull over my decisions of how I answered? No. Am I going to wait on this company to call me up? Sort of. Am I going to continue to apply other places? Absolutely. According to unemployment insurance, I have to. But that's only twice a week I need to do that. But I do have some other jobs that I've scoped out that I will put in my resume, I will put in my application, because this process it hasn't stopped yet. I haven't been given the A-OK from the other company or the yay or nay. I haven't been given the go or no go from this company I just interviewed with. So the grind still continues. Now, will I celebrate a good interview? Sure. There, that's it. I don't have to do anything else. I made the trek out here. I did it safely. Now I get to go trek home back to my kiddos and ask about their day, because it's who I work safe for. It's who I choose to work for them. I choose to do things and hopefully teach them some things, and they're my world. So if I don't do anything, they won't do anything, right? They won't be taken care of. So I work for them for the most part, right? For the most part. So that was the interview process from way beginning, right before and immediately after. Like, this is immediately right after the interview. So tips and tricks, there were some in there, and I'll kind of do this format on the next interview if I get a next interview somewhere for another job. Catch you later.